Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the UGC League. We are playing in the playoffs here. This is going to be Cafe Lucru versus Void Boys. This is going to be an awesome match. Both these teams done very, very well this season. I think during the regular season, Cafe Lucru went 14-4, and Void Boys went 16-3. Those numbers don't quite add up, so it looks like there might have been a forfeit in there, something weird, but either way, impressive records from both teams. And actually, if I pull this over here onto your monitor here, there we go. We should be able to see, yeah, you should be able to see the playoff bracket here. So Void Boys took out Team Dust in a 2-1 victory, and Cafe Lucru took off Daywalker Nighters. Oh man, I love that name. I wish I could say it. But anyways, yeah, so these guys are meeting in the semifinals. The winner of this matchup will go on to face Vacation Dampier in the grand finals next weekend. Now, Vacation Dampier looks like they had a bit of an easy ride. Well, not an easy ride, but they took out Third Tier Gaming in the first round, and then they got a bye through the second round as both of the teams that they were supposed to fight up against have disbanded. So they're going to be jumping straight through to the finals, and so the winner of Void Boys vs. Cafe Lucru will go on to face Vacation Dampier. And Vacation Dampier has been incredibly formidable as well, so despite jumping through one round of the playoffs, they're going to be absolute fantastic contenders for the finals. So that out of the way, let's jump back into the draft and see where we're sitting at right now. Looks like we've got Sniper, Shadow Fiend, Troll Warlord, and Bat Rider all banned out. All pretty standard stuff, all stuff that we'd pretty much expect to see, I feel. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Curious to see what is going to come up right off the bat. The Lion is going to be picked up from Cafe Lucru right off the bat. I'm loving the Lion. You know, there's a couple other heroes that have slipped through the pool here. There's the Axe, there's the Juggernaut, but, you know, Lion is just such a good hero, and he works very well against those two that I just mentioned as well, which gives him, which I think gave him pick priority here for Cafe Lu, as they did opt to go for first pick. Now we are going to be facing this match off in a best of 3 here. So in the first game, Void Boys being the home team got to select their side. Cafe Lucru got to take the first pick. So they took the first pick. Void Boys selected to have Radiant. In the next game, Cafe Lucru will decide whether they want Radiant or Dire, and Void Boys will select whether or not they want first pick. So game 3. I'm not sure what the ruling is on Game 3. I think it'll probably go back to the home team, but I'll confirm that with the admins. Either way, I'm looking forward to this match. Both these teams, incredible powerhouses, lots of, just really great. I love watching Cafe Lucru. I've watched them quite a few times. They played in a LAN that I casted for a little while ago. The why are they the ES Champ series? The ES Champ. My buddy Peasant and I casted them for a full day, and they wrecked house. They went, I think, almost undefeated in that tournament. They were just incredibly strong, took home the prize at the end of the day, so just a great team all around. And Void Boys, I've only seen them in the UGC League, but they have performed fantastically whenever I've watched them, so a really, really strong team. Now, Lena and Axe going to be their first 2 pickups here, so liking that. Lena has been seeing quite a lot of play lately, and people are starting to opt to run her as a core. I don't think I've seen a support Lena in quite a while, and, you know, it's just due to her incredible damage output. She's such a versatile hero when you get her on that mid lane, and you know, I haven't seen a one-position Lena yet, but she is very, very strong on that mid lane, and there's not too many heroes that can outdo her. She just has so much great damage from such a long range that the only real hope you have is just getting someone with a super clean auto attack up against her to just try to outlast hit her, because her auto attack is her only real weak point. She's got great lane clearing abilities. She's got a very spammable nuke. She can pretty much out-damage anybody in lane. So we see a lot of, like, Shadow Fiends and Snipers against her, people that can kind of keep their distance and do a lot of damage to the creeps and just kind of outlast hit her. But it is still hard for those heroes as well, just because of Dragon Slave being such an amazing ability. Now, getting through the second stage of bans here, we've got the Vengeful Spirit, the Dazzle, taken out by Cafe Lucru, and on the side of Void Boys, they get rid of the Queen of Pain and the Skywrath Mage. So they're fearing a lot of that direct magic burst damage, which makes a lot of sense. Axe falls victim to a lot of that high magic burst. He's a very physical-based hero. He's all about that armor, about negating physical damage, and so if you get a Queen of Pain or something that can just blow him up with magic damage, he ends up falling quite often to that. As well with the same with the Skywrath Mage. And Lena, same thing. She's not a very common BKB carrier. She wants to just rely on her CC and her burst damage to be her saving grace, but if she gets burst down, same kind of thing there. And Cafe Lucru, they've gotten rid of 2 physical damage amplifiers, which makes a lot of sense seeing the axe on the board as well, and then another hero like the Juggernaut who could come through the pool. You know, those two supports would have done absolute work. And of course, Dazzle with the axe is just ridiculous. But anyways, Clockwork was the pickup for Cafe Lucru before they got into that banning phase, so they want to get on that Lina, and Lina does really poorly inside of Cog. She can get off I believe that she can't cast Dragon Slave or Light Strike Array inside of the Cogs just because of the Battery Assault ticks, but I believe she can get off Laguna Blade, so we'll see how that plays out. I think the Clockwork wins if he gets a good hook in that scenario, but, you know, that's all circumstantial. Now, Zeus is going to be picked up here by Cafe Lucru, so they're going to be running the that high magic burst like I was talking about. They've got the Lion, they've got the Zeus so far. That's a lot of magic damage for Axe to deal with, and not so much physical for him to negate so far. So Axe might have a hard time this game, and you know, if he can farm up his Blink Dagger quickly enough and then get onto these heroes, if he can taunt the Lion, taunt the Zeus, he'll be doing really good. But Zeus is a fantastic counter to Axe just because of what's his passive called? The Static Field. Just because of Static Field, it cancels his Blink so easily. The amount of times you'll see an Axe just, you know, call on the spot, like Berserker's call on the spot, just because he meant to blink and it got canceled by Static Field, it's incredible. We'll see it a couple times during this game, I guarantee you, and I'll call it out later on. But Juggernaut, the pickup for Void Boys, we talked about that. Really, really good against all of these heroes so far. Lots of magic immunity, and he's got the Omni Slash to keep him safe against a lot of that sustained damage that Zeus does, etc. So we might be seeing some Ghost Scepters in the future for probably Lion, maybe even Zeus as the game progresses, because that physical damage will be very potent. But again, that opens them up to damage from Lina. So I like the mix of physical to magical damage on Void Boys so far. Cafe Lucru opting a lot more towards the magical, which means a pipe is going to be very, very effective for them. Now, Shadow Demon, the fourth pickup here for Void Boys, he's you know, it's not a hero we see a lot, but he works really, really well with Lina, and you know, it depends whether that Lina is going to be a core or a support. She could be run on a support role. The Shadow Demon Lina used to be a very, very popular combo. Hasn't been seen all that much lately, but if they run the Shadow Demon +1 on the support role and they run the Lina mid, that still gives Void Boys the potential for a lot of roaming ganks towards mid. You know, that synergy still exists if the Shadow Demon roams into the lane that the Lina's in. You know, just walks up there with the smoke and he gets the disruption. That ability that I forgot the name of. He gets the disruption off. Lina has an easy setup for the Light Strike Array, and that's almost a guaranteed kill, especially if Soul Catcher lands on whoever is inside of that disruption. So, lots of potential for combos here from Void Boys, and like I said, I really like their setup so far. Really well-balanced team, but I think Cafe Lucru is setting themselves up in a really good position to kind of avert the insane amount of damage that Void Boys could be doing. That Earthshaker and that Clockwork are going to be very, very important for positioning. If they can keep the Axe and the Juggernaut away from their magic damage, the Zeus, he'll be able to do a lot of work this game, and especially against some squishier heroes like the Lina and the Shadow Demon. Zeus outdamages pretty much everybody on this field in a 1v1 fight, unless, of course, you get off something big like an Omni Slash, or the Lina gets off to like a big Laguna Blade or something like that. But for the most part, I think Zeus will be a key factor this game if Cafe Lucru can keep him in check. Now, getting onto those last two bans there, Windranger taken out by Cafe Lu, fearing that might be a mid hero for the Void Boys there, and I think that's a good call. They could use, I think they could put a Windranger to very good use. No particular synergy there. I mean, she doesn't fit with the Shadow Demon quite that well, but she is just an incredible hero all around, and especially since we've been seeing that slasher build being built on so many new heroes now, or not so many new heroes, so many players are picking up that new slasher build on Windranger, and it's making her a very effective player. But looks like Void Boys is going to go for the Magnus, so I think this is going to be a support Lina. They're going to be running her around with the Shadow Demon and ganking around the map. Now, this does put Magnus in a bit of a compromising position because he'll probably be mid against the Zeus, and Zeus beats Magnus out of lane incredibly well. Like, Magnus is a safe mid because he can always stay back and spam out the shockwave, but in all reality, he is a melee hero. He is he's a hero that doesn't really have a lot of killing potential or even utility until he hits level 6, between 6 and 11 is really his time to shine. And if he can't get that Blink Dagger up fast, Zeus is going to thrive very, very well. And I like this pickup as well. The Wraith King being picked up by CLC. That's probably going to be their one position, so really interesting pickups here. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game plays out. Anyways, let's introduce the teams as we get off into the... Oh my god! Look at this! Oh wait, is this the one? I think this... Oh, no, this isn't it. Okay, I thought that was the Clockwork helmet that was worth, like, $400 or something. I was like, what? But no. That's a different one. Anyways, introduce the teams. Down here on the side of Void Boys, we've got Omega Owner, DGCY on the Axe. I'm not sure which of those is his name, whether it's Omega Owner. I think I'm going to go with that, but there we go. Axe up towards the off lane. QQ20796444160. You're going to be known as QQ, my friend. He's playing the Magnus up towards that mid lane. Mercy. Whoa, I missed. Mercy. Going to be playing that Juggernaut. Schwan on the Lena. And Fly going to be taking that Shadow Demon. A bunch of really difficult, annoying names. But over on the side of CLC, Cafe Loot Crew, we've got Keel taking that Clockwork down towards the bottom lane. You've got Blue the Savage. He's going to be playing that Zeus on the mid. Mind on the Wraith King. Cafe Loot on the Earthshaker. And Memoria going to be taking that Lion. Now it looks like both teams each going to secure themselves a bounty rune apiece. We've got the Zeus going to be taking the one up on top, and Magnus going to be taking the bottom one. So both mid heroes are going to start out with half a level, so no distinct advantages being gained there, but Zeus has started himself out pretty darn close to a bottle pickup, and actually so is Magnus. He's about 50 gold off of that right off the bat, getting that bounty rune, so... looks like he had a little bit of support help pulling that lane back, so he's going to have it a little bit closer to the side of his high ground, but it's not going to make too much of a difference here. I think Blue the Savage should do just fine in this lane. Anyways, Memoria actually getting to start with boots here, as the Earthshaker went with a very not greedy build. He picked up a set of tangos, a couple clarities. Looks like he got wards and some other things. Oh, just barely misses the fissure. That could have easily been the first blood if that fissure hit. It was a great block. I don't think there's any way he walks out of that one. And if Lion had a follow-up stun, the Wraith King followed up with that. A lot of damage could have gone down. That X could have taken a fall, but not going to happen this early on. Down on the bottom lane, Keel. He looks like he's getting his XP all right. He's started with boots himself, so he's a little bit mobile, but he is susceptible to those Lena auto attacks now that he hasn't gone for the Stout Shield, and he's going to run out of regen pretty darn quick down on this bottom lane. Something to look out for as this game progresses. I think Lena's going to be doing great at blocking that off, but anyways, throws out a Rocket Flare down towards the pull camp, but doesn't actually spot anything out as the pull has gone completely through to the hard camp, and that lane will be pulled nice and far back towards that Juggernaut's tower, and Clockwork's going to have to back away from that. I think he might go cog the creeps into the trees or something. Drop an Observer Ward down in the trees here. I'm curious about what that's about. I think he just doesn't want to show the enemy team that he has a ward for when he places it later, but you know, I don't see the opportunity where he's going to be able to get that ward over to, you know, one of these positions without being spotted. And it looks like he messed up a little bit there. Since 2 creeps through, that is still going to pull the lane back towards his side, so he's not all that upset about it. But, oh man, Omega Warner does that very, very well. Gets the taunt off and steals the rune from Zeus. And now Zeus is in a really uncomfortable position as he isn't able to walk back to the lane without the Magnus. But Magnus is there, and he doesn't know the Earthshaker's up on that high ground. They fissure him off, and now he's got to walk around through the tower. He's getting bursted down quite a bit. He's going to head up. Oh, he can actually slip through there. I didn't think he was going to be able to. But now with that clarity pumping on the Earthshaker, he's going to try to get enough mana for another fissure, and he does have it. But is the Magnus going to skew over the cliff? Alright, they get the fissure. Where's he going to go from here? There's a frog. Can they hold him down long enough? There's a stun. One more punch, and Cafe Lou grabs the first blood on to the Void Boys Magnus. Yeah, got himself in a bit of a compromising position, and I think he was just trying to be a little too conservative there. Up on top, good call goes out there on the Wraith King, but nothing going to come of that. But yeah, no, I think Magnus was being a little bit too greedy with his skewer. When he was over in this position here, he could have easily just skewered down over the fissure and gotten away from that, but he wanted to conserve his mana, maybe find a kill, like he thought his axe was coming, and it just didn't work out the way he wanted it to, so he doesn't get out of that one. First blood goes to Cafe Lou. Down to bottom. Clockwork still sitting at level 2, as opposed to the Axe's level 3, so he's fallen a little bit behind. He's not doing too bad, but like I said, he is running out of regen fairly quickly here. He's at full health, but he only has 1 Tango left, and no clarities to keep him in mana for that Rocket Flare, so he's got to try to get some levels out of this, but he's running himself into a dangerous position. We see him really far forward now, and here comes the Lena the Shadow Demon. If they can get this disruption, I think the Clockwork's dead. He buys a TP and tries to TP out, but no, he gets disrupted. that is going to be the end of the Clockwork here. Great Light Strike array lands, and the crits from the Juggernaut will round that out. Earthshaker TP's in to see what he can do, but not going to be enough there. And that's the potency of that Lina Shadow Demon combo. That's what I was telling you. What are we doing with the courier here? Okay. Yes. But yeah, I mean that's just that's what that combo does. You get the disruption, you get the light strike, and as long as Alina doesn't mess up the light strike, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. You hold somebody down for a few seconds, especially with the Soul Catcher. It's just so much bonus damage, and you can just do so much with it. And we're gonna see the Shadow Demon and Alina rotate towards mid now. They do have a smoke up, so this could be the end of the Zeus if they play this just right. But Zeus playing pretty careful. I think he realized that those supports are missing and staying up on his high ground. He could be a lot closer, but he's eating a lot of damage from these illusions, which is actually might actually bring him down far enough. Oh, if the Magnus has balls, he can just charge for this. And alright, the Earthshaker was there to thwart that that aggression, but yeah. I think if he had just skewered straight onto the Zeus there and shockwaved on top of him, he would have gotten that kill. But it's always risky to do that, because if the Zeus jukes up and your skewer misses, you now don't have an escape. You're under the tower and you have to walk away. Where did I miss a kill? Up on top. It looks like that Shadow Demon took a fall to the Wraith King and the Lion combo. But yeah, Lion, he's toasty as he walks down away into the river and gets caught by a Dragon Slave in the butt. So that'll be 2 heroes down on CLC, and that is not good for their safe lane. That Wraith King, he's farming up a Midas. He did buy the recipe before he died, so he's not out too much gold from that death. But that is going to slow down his Midas quite a bit. He's probably going to be a minute or minute and a half behind due to that death. So something to look out for there. It's a little bit. That's no good. You don't want your carry dying. Carries shouldn't die. Alrighty. In terms of last hits, the Radiant side Void Boys is doing a little bit better there. The Juggernaut's sitting at 36 and 14. They've been controlling this lane really well. The amount of denies that this Juggernaut has is testament to how well he's keeping this lane pulled back and away from this Clockwork, who is still sitting only at level 3 right now. So he's having a hard time getting in towards that lane, but I think he knows that the Lina and the Shadow Demon are missing, so he moves forward, throws out a annoying pair of cogs, and just tries to be a little bit aggressive, get himself some last hits, do what he can down here. Now, the opposing safe laner, the Wraith King, like I said, eating that death isn't helping him out much, but he is only 4 CS behind, and so that's not too bad considering he did die once. Mid lane, looks like we got action here as the Zeus gets jumped on. Now, he gets skewered back. I don't know if there's any way out of this one, but he can turn around, do a lot of damage. Can he bring down that? Oh, no. I think if he had just thrown the ultimate and maybe thrown another Arc Lightning, he might have been able to trade his life for the Magnus, but he was just trying to walk away from that one. He didn't want to get he thought if he kept walking, he would have been able to get away, but not the case. I think in that scenario, it's best to just turn around, do as much damage as you can before you die, and maybe pick up some experience that the enemy mid laner wouldn't. But either way, that haste rune on the Magnus doing work as he walks up, gets himself a good skewer back, and despite the Earthshaker being there with a fissure, there wasn't enough to turn it back around. 4-2 on the side of Void Boys. Smoke Gank here from the Lina and the Shadow Demon. They're hooking around bottom tower, and oh, they might find an easy Zeus kill here. They just need to wander right in. There it is. Disruption on the Zeus, and Light Strike to follow it up. They catch it, and Juggernaut's in there, spinning around. There goes the kill. He does get his ultimate off, which means that the Shadow Demon will fall to the Earthshaker, but the Omni Slash dives in under the tier 2, and there goes the Earthshaker. 2 down on the side of CLC, and another 2-for-1 engagement taken by Void Boys. Well done for them. 6-3 is the score. Over towards mid. Clockwork just trying to soak up whatever XP he can right now. He really, really needs to get a little bit under his belt. I think he might go for a bottle. I think bottle on Clockwork is a really, really good way to sustain your mana. Otherwise, you got to start going for some weird items like Arcane Boots or Drums of Endurance and things like that. Like, you know, not items that are bad to have, but you do have to have something to supplement your mana pool as Clockwork, and whether that be your bottle or another full item is the question. And a bottle is a good cheap way to kind of sustain that and keep yourself in a lot of health, so, or in a lot of mana rather. But Wraith King, he has finished up that Midas. Looks like he finished it up probably a minute ago. Actually, a minute and a half, I guess, because the Midas is just coming off a cooldown. So he's got that, starting to rake in a little bit of gold, and we'll see where he goes from here. Whether he goes into a Blink, a Blade Mail, you know, who knows? We'll see what happens. But Wraith King has potential to do quite a bit this game, as him and Juggernaut, not actually on as even on farm as they were before. I'm not sure what Wraith King was doing. He was rotating around the map. Looks like he TP'd in to help out his team. And that's given Juggernaut the ability to kind of jump ahead on those last hits. About 14 up right now on his opposition. Wraith King is smoked here. If you can get into the lane and get a good blast, yeah, no. The axe is, or the Shadow Demon rather, who's sitting up here, is gone. So Wraith King is just going to go back to farming. Pings out. I don't know. And his axe will be clearing out this jungle camp here, which will give him his blink dagger. So that's a pretty well-timed blink. 102 on him and a couple jungle creeps later, and that'll be a pre-10-minute blink with those tranquil boots being picked up as well. So well done by the axe, and this is going to be trouble for Cafe Lu right now. As I was saying during the draft, they have a lot of squishy heroes that don't do a lot if they get taunted, you know? If that Zeus gets taunted, if the Lion gets taunted, they're pretty much dead unless their team can save them with a really good fissure or a hex or something. But, you know, if, like I said, if you jump into that team fight as the axe, you get the Earthshaker, you get the Lion, you get the Zeus. That is pretty much a one-team fight. So these guys are going to have to be very, very careful about their positioning, where they're sitting in each of these team fights. And there we go. We see this right now as goes a call in the river and jump in. There's the RP spent for it. And I think, oh man, is Zeus going to get out of here? It looks like he might. Oh, he turns it around, tries to do as much damage as he can, but the axe, he gets finished off by the Finger of Death, and it looks like it is going to be a one-for-one trade. I think Zeus kind of did what I was talking about earlier there. Oh, man, great fissure. Catches him on the wrong side, though, and, maybe not so great a fissure. Getting the comments saying the stream is lagging a little bit. I will look into that. It might be on my end. I will investigate that in just a second here. But Juggernaut chasing after that Lion with a double damage rune and that Mask of Madness. That is so much damage if he gets it off. And oh, there he goes. Looks for the Omni Slash, finds it. Finishes off the Lion. Does he want to continue though? Yeah, there we go. The double damage rune wears off, so he's just going to try to TP out. But will it be quick enough? No! He spent a little bit too long spinning. I think the second he got that Lion kill, he needed to spin and TP right there, but he waited a little bit too long on his TP. Zeus getting jumped on the mid lane. I don't know if he makes it out of this one. Actually, Shockwave misses, and no dunk to follow. Are they still going to find him, though? There's the dunk. All right, Zeus gets finished off, and now a disruption onto the Earthshaker. He gets spun on as well, and Omega Owner is starting to open this game wide up. 10-5 for Void Boys right now. I'm just going to investigate this lag a little bit, see if it is on my end. If I have any background programs open or anything. Yeah, alright. Nothing major. I don't think I should be lagging, but I will investigate. Twitch seems to lag a little bit if I have the stream open myself, and I've been using it to just keep an eye on what I was outputting. But I will close that and see what else I can get. Optimize as best I can. Alright. That should be good. We'll see how that does. If it's still lagging in a couple minutes, let me know. There's a 2-minute delay on the stream, so I only saw your comment 2 minutes ago. It'll be another 2 minutes till you see any changes. Down to bottom lane. Clockwork hooks in, gets on Schwann, and actually he turns it right back around, tries to do as much damage as he can, and will the tower finish off Keel? Looks like he might. Oh, there we go. Tower just barely gets that kill on the back line, and like I said, with that Lina, if she gets hooked on, she can get that she didn't get any of her other spells off, but she got the Laguna Blade, and that was enough. And with a couple extra auto attacks, the help of the tower and the Zeus ulti. Oh wait, no, the Zeus ulti was on Lina. That's wrong team. Ha! But yeah, she kills the Clockwork, and yeah, I think that's a good trade there. If you can trade your support Lina for a core Clockwork when he was trying to get an easy kill, that's a good way to do it. Last hits holding pretty steady here. Looks like the Wraith King is caught up a little bit while the Juggernaut was fighting around the map. So 85 to 81, they're sitting pretty even. If we jump over to the net worth, Juggernaut still about yeah, a pretty accurate reflection in terms of net worth versus the last hit chart right here. But we'll leave it on net worth for now, so you guys can keep an eye on that, as it tends to mean more. The more kills happen on the map. Clockwork now has his bottle, Urn of Shadows, so he's got everything he needs to sustain him around the map, and Hookshot now off cooldown, so he's going to be looking for blood. Up on the top lane, there's no one up there that they can see right now, but he's just looking to kind of offer a little bit of support. We'll see if somebody rotates up here. The Juggernaut looks like he's coming in, and if Juggernaut gets caught, this could be bad for him, but you know, I don't think Juggernaut is in all that much danger unless he gets hexed up first. I think You know, I think provided he's quick enough with either his Omni Slash or his Blade Fury, he should be just fine surviving against a gank from these three, but he's staying pretty far back, so might not see that engagement come to fruition. Blink Dagger now finished up on the Magnus. I'm actually curious about when he picked that up, because I wasn't really paying attention to that. But, down on bottom. Shadow Demon just grabs himself a double damage rune. Not too worried about giving it to anybody else. Just wants to get rid of it, get it off the board, and he drops the ward up on that high ground behind Roche. So might see some pressure coming in towards the bottom tier 1 tower for the Dire side.
I'll take that as tribute.
Oh man, this Magnus just gets popped like a. Oh, it was, yeah, like a cherry tomato. But yeah, no, he walks in forward, gets fissured, and the burst damage from the Zeus is good enough. They drop him with a couple spells, and that's it. Wow. I mean, I guess that's what you get buying no strength items on the Magnus. I tend to prefer a beefier Magnus. I go for a Bracer and Power Treads into the Blink Dagger, and that tends to help buffer out the HP pool, but this Magnus is a little bit squishier, sitting at only 49 strength overall, so a little bit less health, and that Zeus doing a lot of damage to him because of it. They're now just farming up the Ancients. That Mask of Madness keeping him well in HP for that for farming. Blink Dagger now up online. That's actually really, really big. Getting a Blink Dagger that early online can mean quite a bit. So we'll see if he can initiate some big team fights. No Blink Dagger even close on the Earthshaker yet, as he's gone for that Soul Ring in between. What was that fissure?
Dire's middle tower.
He just threw it in the Roche pit to... oh, I think they're worried about Juggernaut running in there and soloing up Roche. They're going to try to keep an eye on that, and I think seeing that ward go up on this cliff was kind of indicative of the fact that Void Boys might be looking for an earlier Roche, so... Zeus still farming up here. Looks like he's going to go for an early Eul's Scepter instead of going for anything else. You know, Zeus has kind of been seeing this Eul's Scepter build quite a bit more lately. There's been some variations. We'll sometimes see Blink into Eul's or Force Staff into Eul's, or just Eul's into Aghanims or something like that, but looks like it's going to be the Eul's first this game, and I'm not sure what he's going to follow that up with. Might be an Aghs, might be a Refresher straight up, but we'll keep an eye on that. Anyways, Tier 2 falls on the bottom lane. Juggernaut grabs that for himself, and it looks like it might be traded for Tier 1 top. They are there to defend it. We've got the Lina, they got the Shadow Demon, and this tower is still at a pretty healthy 350 HP, so tower not going to fall quite yet, but it is susceptible to it in the next couple minutes if they leave that lane alone, so something they got to look out for. Zeus picks himself up a Bounty Rune, and he's getting pretty darn close to picking up that Eul's Scepter. Just needs to farm up another couple creep camps, which is what he's going to do as he heads into the jungle here, and yeah, shouldn't be too big a deal for him to pick that up, just 100 gold. Mid lane Earthshaker just kind of farming up this wave. Doing his own thing here. Axe farming in the jungle. What's he looking for next? Robe of the Magi and an Ogre Club. That's Blade Mail into BKB, I guess? He's just kind of picking up a couple different items at once. That must be it. Well, we'll see. Up on top, Wraith King farming away with that Maelstrom now, so he's going to have a fairly accelerated farm. He's going to be doing really, really well on that front. We'll see what he opts to go for from this. There's a lot of different weird ways you can build Wraith King, whether it be, you know, Blade Mail, Basher, Assault Cuirass, Mjolnir, Maelstrom, or like just the Maelstrom. We've even seen some weird like Sanjin Yasha stuff, so I'm curious to see what his build is going to be. I don't think it will matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Everything is pretty comparable for Wraith King. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if Blade Mail would work out that well this game. Maybe against Alina, but I think that's about it. Anyways, there's pressure on the top tower. If they don't run in and throw a couple auto attacks on this tower, it is going to get denied, I think. And yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. They just walk forward. They're going to whack away at it. But meanwhile... Wait, where was that? Oh, Zeus gets jumped on. That taunt good from the axe. And oh, he goes for the Omni Slash, but the Zeus gets a good Eul's Scepter. There we go. Earthshaker drops the totem. Wow, this fight is kind of all over the place. Axe running away. in towards the dire side of the field. And oh, great hook from the Clockwork. Finds that Lena and runs away before he gets blown up. Probably a good call on his point there. But Memoria jumps in, gets a good stun. Can they follow it up though? Cafe Lu needs to scurry away from this fight. He doesn't have the mana for the fissure and he gets finished off. They hold him down. That's going to be a kill. 2 up for Void Boys, or 2 kills down for Void Boys rather. And the axe is their only casualty. Pretty small gold swing in the end of that fight. And I think that'll be it for now.
Dire's middle tower is under
Are they going to
attack.
pursue in towards this tier 2? It doesn't look like it. I think they're just going to want to back off from here. Maybe they could go for a Roche if they wanted to. But no, their Juggernaut's heading off towards the other side of the map, so that's probably not going to happen quite yet.
Dire's middle tower
Full
is under
Mantis style
attack.
up on the Jug right now. He's farming incredibly well, and you can see his net worth has jumped pretty far ahead of that Wraith King there. He's about 1,000 ahead of Wraith King. Not that big a difference, and yeah, it is a Blink Dagger on Wraith King, so he's gone for a little bit more of an initiating
Dire's top tower is
an
under
initiating
attack.
build. The Earthshaker still doesn't have a Blink Dagger, and he's supposed to be their big initiator, but I think with the Lion and the Wraith King both having Blink Daggers, it kind of offers them all the initiation they'll really need for now. So Earthshaker will be okay, just kind of walking in for his Echo Slams. But they smoke into Roche, and they're looking to secure this before the Juggernaut can get over there and do it himself. And it looks like Void Boys have no clue that this is happening right now. Like, they're just farming up jungle camps. They're in the neighborhood, but not quite able to help out just yet. And yeah, they have no clue. They're heading back to base. They're just kind of rotating around. Yeah, this Roche is going to go the way of Cafe Lucru, and this could give them a healthy advantage here. Now, with that scouting Zeus ult, I think they've realized, and they're going to turn it back around. Will they be able to get there in time? I don't think so, though. Roche has gone down, and Zeus grabs the Aegis, actually. I think that's a good choice. He does a lot of damage and has been facing a, the Wraith King already has his second life. Might as well give it to the Zeus so that you can have 2 people guaranteed left standing at the end of the fight, and turn things around. Some pressure in towards mid here. Magnus now has a 4-staff as well, so he's doing pretty good on the mobility front. He's going to be in and out of these fights like a madman, and not really in any danger of getting picked off here. He's pretty far forward, playing a little bit aggressively, but it really didn't matter. If he got fissured, he turns around, he either skewers out or 4-staffs out, no problem for him, and should be fine. They drop a Yule's up on that Juggernaut illusion, and they hook in on it, but then they realize it's just an illusion, and that's a lot of ability spent for nothing. Oh man, Magnus, 4-staffs forward, blinks in, gets a great RP, and now the Juggernaut going to work. Will he be able to find the kills? They've got the Lion down already. There goes the Wraith King, but he has his ultimate. He should be back in fighting condition in just a second. Can they turn this one back around? Great fissure, catches 3, but the Lena going to work on the Wraith King. That is going to be a full kill on him. 3 down on Void Boys. Lena looking really, really low, and there's the Zeus nearby. He doesn't have the mana to finish her off, though. Will he be able to? Just needs some mana, the magic wand, anything to be able to finish her off, and there he goes. 4 down on the side of Void Boys, and that's, I don't even think the Aegis wasn't even spent. It was just the Wraith King sitting up front, taking all that damage, and 3 stand for CLC at the end of that. I'm sure that was a great gold swing for them, yeah. 2,600 gold in their favor, and a pretty good XP swing their way as well, about 4.5k, so really well played, and Cafe Lucru is right back in this, grabbing themselves a tower right off of that as well. So both teams are even on towers. Both teams pretty close to even on kills. We got 3 up on Void Boys still, and I'm curious to see what the graphs look like after that. Yeah, okay, so the advantage still in the favor of Void Boys, but it's dropped a little bit further down, pretty close to 2,500 in terms of both EXP and gold after that fight. So it's looking like the close series I expected it to be. Now, this is a best of 3. I didn't throw up the little ticker up on the top there, but this is game 1 of the best of 3. So whoever takes this will be in a nice, they'll be in a nice position. But this is elimination brackets, so whoever loses this BO3 is out of the playoffs. I think they'll be dropping down to a, I think they'll actually be dropping down to a bronze medal match, which, now that I think about it, I think is guaranteed because the team that was supposed to drop down to the 3rd place match was a team that disbanded. So whoever drops to the 3rd place is guaranteed 3rd place. They won't have to fight for that over 4th, but I'm sure both of these teams want to go on to the finals and head in towards the big prize. Now, I'm not actually sure what our prize is here in the UGC, but Maybe I could get some info on that and let you guys know, because there's a lot on the line here, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Anyways, Void Boys rotating in towards bottom. Looks like they want to gear up, maybe head in towards the tier 2. They've got all their initiation down there, and the Lena is coming in as well. Juggernaut just farming on his own, though. Doing the ancients. We may see him TP in towards bottom, though, after this. Smoke up from Cafe Lou. They're looking for an initiation. Can they find it? Wraith King going down towards bottom. I think they recognize where Void Boys are, and they're getting ready to defend. Where's their team going to go through, though? They're kind of scattered right now. And Mind playing pretty far forward, but obviously he's got his team right behind him, so that's exactly what he wants. Wants to look vulnerable, and oh, there we go. The Zeus ulti to open things up. They jump on the Juggernaut right away, and will they bring him down? They do indeed. Juggernaut, the first casualty of this fight, with the Shadow Demon following them very quickly thereafter. Hasterin on the Lena, trying to juke away through the trees, but these guys are just cornered sitting ducks? I don't know. Yeah, Magnus goes down to a finger of death, and there goes the axe as well. Lena trying to run away from this one, but her haste rune is gone. Wraithfire Blast gonna catch her, and yeah, there's no way she survives that. She gets finished off there. 5 for 1. CLC find themselves a great engagement, and that's a Zeus ulti right off the bat. I mean, this is the difference between low level and high level Zeuses, is using your ulti at the beginning of the fight. Now, you know, it always seems like it's a nice utility for finishing off a fight, catching stragglers, etc. But using it early on is so much more valuable, especially against a team with 2 Blink Daggers. I mean, wait, do we have third? No, yeah, it's 2 Blink Daggers. Like, having 2 Blinks on the side of Void Boys and canceling those out right off the bat means they have no mobility, they have no positioning, they're going to get caught out, and especially since you can see them all, Blue was able to see every single person that was positioned around this tier 1 tower. You had one person sitting here, one person sitting here, a couple down in here, and all of them were totally visible. They lost every element of surprise they possibly could have, and it allowed them to finish them off quick. I mean, Juggernaut was hiding up in these trees, they jumped on him, they got the hook shot, he was in the cogs, he was stuck out and got stunned way too hard. There was no way he could get out of it. He wasn't able to get the Blade Fury off, he wasn't able to get the Omni Slash, and Juggernaut died before he spent an ability. So, really well played by CLC. They got themselves a nice advantage now, and they're back in the side of the positive kills. That'll take them back in their in terms of XP and net worth as well, down to almost 5k XP in their favor. So, looking good. This game very back and forth, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes as we continue on. Zeus now sitting on a 4-staff and a Eul Scepter, so all about keeping himself alive, not going for any of the big damage items yet, the Aghanims or the Refresher, but we'll see if that ends up happening a little bit later on in the game. Clockwork has now picked up that good. I mentioned that during the draft, to get up against this Void Boys lineup. It's going to be very, very potent, of course, that Axe counter Helix is actually physical damage, so you're not going to eat any of that if you go Scepter before you get taunted, and the Juggernaut will pretty much be able to do absolutely nothing to you if you pop that Ghost Scepter. Now, you still got to worry about the Laguna Blade. If that gets popped on you while you have the Ghost Scepter up, that's going to be a little bit ugly, but, you know, it's a risk you got to take to keep yourself alive against these other heroes. Now, Axe sitting on a BKB, how many seconds is that at? 9, so he's only used it the one time, so he's feeling pretty confident about himself right now, looking pretty darn strong. 6, 4, and 3 on the Axe. Skullbasher now up on the Wraith King, so not opting to finish up his Mjolnir quite yet. Looks like he wants to go straight into an Abyssal Blade, and I don't blame him. The longer they can keep that Jug stunned, the better they're going to do. And, you know, we saw that in the last fight. They managed to kill the Jug because they held him in the cogs. They got him with a fissure, and they just blew him up before he could do anything. And so if you can add a Abyssal Blade stun to that, it's going to be a lot easier to bring him down. Keeping the rocket flares flying on Roshan to keep an eye on it, but it's still got another few minutes before it gets up here. I think that's going to be a full 10 minutes? 10 minutes? Juggernaut now finished up a Scotty, and it looks like Void Boys are going to opt for a Smoke Gank of their own. Oh, this could be a kill onto the Wraith King. They blink in, they get a good stun on him, they're bringing him down quick, and there he goes. He's going to fall, but they're going to counter-initiate. Oh man, the Axe pops almost instantly, and the Juggernaut's to follow. There goes the Wraith King. He's in the middle of this fight. He brings down the Shadow Demon, and oh, we have a disconnect. We have a disconnect from a guy who's already dead, so I don't know. Oh, wait. Who disconnected? Okay, so we had... Wait, who paused it? Does it say in the chat or in the combat log? It doesn't say who paused it, but... Either way, we got one player from each team disconnected. That's a little bit strange, but... yeah, what a time. And I don't think that there's much that's going to change the outcome of this fight. I don't think this pause is going to... You know, even if it was tactical, I don't think there's many tactics that could be employed to save either this Magnus or the Alina. I mean, maybe Magnus gets a 4-staff down into the trees and manages to just juke away long enough to survive, but it's so unlikely. And, I mean, this Zeus will be right on his tail. Zeus actually doesn't have a 4-staff, so might not be able to catch him, but there's Blink Daggers, there's Fissures. Actually, there's a Blink Dagger up on the Earthshaker now, so I don't think there's any way this comes out... I don't think Void Boys recover anything from this. They are done 5-0, and CLC are looking to get a very, very... They're looking to get a very strong hold on this game here. If they finish off this fight, that's another 2 kills. That'll put them at 22-16. They'll be sitting really healthily on those kills, and they're probably going to get a tier 2 and maybe a tier 3 off of this one as well. They could go straight to racks with this, depending on how hard they push, but it's... Yeah, it's starting to look ugly for Void Boys. They had a pretty good lead early on. Their axe was starting to do work, but, you know, CLC has just played these fights very, very well. They've been using the Wraith King to bait. That ultimate has been going to absolute work. I mean, we saw in this fight, right off the bat, he dies up front, and his team was nearby, ready to re-engage it, and that was all it took. I mean, they blew up his first life so quickly, but you can see he's at over half health as the fight ends. And, you know, the ult is just doing work. And, yeah, this game could come apart very quickly, I think. Roshan's still got 3 minutes on it, so... Or 2 minutes? 1, 2, yeah, 3 minutes. So, Roshan's got 3 minutes, so they push, they get a tower, they get maybe a Rax, and I think all of Void Boys is back up. But about that time, after that all happens, they might be able to move into Rosh. And if CLC secures the second Rosh as well, this game could end very quickly thereafter. Alright, what else do we have to look at? Graphs, I've checked those out already. Actually, yeah, it overlays the graphs, so... But yeah, about 5,000 XP advantage and pretty close, well, just over 2,500 in terms of net worth, so... There's that. Let's recap the items, actually. I haven't been able to keep an eye on absolutely everybody this game. Shadow Demon, he's sitting on a 4-staff. Magnus, 4-staff Blink Dagger, we talked about that. Looks like he wants a Black King Bar thereafter again. We've got a Blink Dagger and a Black King Bar on the axe, and it looks like he's building towards a Blade Mail, so that might help him out a little bit. It'll cut down on a little bit of damage that CLC is doing, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it'll do. Lena, she's got herself that Aghanim Scepter. We've seen her use that a couple times already. It's been helpful, but it's leaving her very susceptible to a lot of this shenanigans. You know, she's been getting jumped on, she's been getting bursted down, and really, with having no positioning items, having no Yule Scepter to keep her safe, she's been getting blown up quite a bit. So maybe the Aghanim's Rush, not the best idea this game, but you know, hindsight, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, as the game continues, that Aghanim's could come in to a great effect, especially when she actually hits her level 16, which she's nowhere close to. She's level 11 right now, almost 12, but Juggernaut, talked about his build. He's got the Scotty, he's got the Mantis, got the Mask of Madness, so he's an absolute damage machine, but whether or not he can survive long enough to dish out that damage is another question. I mean, we saw again this fight, dies before he manages to get off the Omni Slash or the Blade Fury, you know, didn't plant any of his abilities, he just died instantly, and that Echo Slam to open the fight was really what changed things back around. Wraith King, Skullbasher, Maelstrom, Blink Dagger, Midas, we've talked about that. We've got the Blink Dagger up on Earthshaker. That just came into effect this fight. Blink Dagger on a 4-staff up on Memoria, so he's been doing really good. Ghost Scepter, Blade Mail on the Clockwork, so he's sitting pretty much where he wants to be. I'm sure he'd love an Aghanim's as well, but doesn't quite need it at this point. Yule's 4-staff, and not too much else to speak of for the Zeus, but he's sitting on 3,500 gold, so we might see him move in towards some of those heftier damage items as the game progresses. Now, we've got one reconnected. Where's the Shadow Demon, man? Where's the Shadow Demon? I think... Yeah. Looks like the Wraith King crashed, but I saw nothing from Void Boys as to where Shadow Demon is, so we're just gonna have a bit of a break. What's up with Blue? What's up indeed? What's up? PC crashed. Alright. Same. 2 PC crashes almost at the exact same time. It almost makes me scared that there's like a Windows update or something going on. I've had a couple nights where Windows sends out like a big update and everybody who gets Windows gets the same update at the same time, and you know, they usually have that like little dialog box that pops up and it's like, would you like to postpone the update for a couple hours? And the annoying thing is that shows up behind games. It doesn't force itself over top of your games, and then it just has a countdown running. And so you just sit there, and if you don't alt-tab out of your game at any point, Windows just restarts your computer. And so I've had a couple nights of gaming where I played Dota, and like 6 people disconnect out of the game. They just drop, and everyone's like, what? And we all come back in, we're like, Windows update. But maybe that's what's happening here. I didn't get an update, so maybe not. People drawing smiley faces on the map. That's cool, man. That's cool. Alright, well, while we're sitting here, I'd like to throw a plug out to the wonderful, wonderful UGC League, one of the most organized and fantastic leagues I've ever casted for. These guys know what's up, and they've got their stuff together. So check out UGCleague.com if you want to keep up to date with all of the tournaments, leagues, and other shenanigans they got going over there. I'm sure we'll have some info on Season 4 coming up pretty darn soon, as we are sitting in the playoffs of Season 3 right now. So, you know, whenever that gets going, keep an eye on that. You know, if you got a team, sign up. UGC League, tons of fun, and like I said, some of the best admins you'll ever work with. So, definitely something to check out. Look out over that. And, of course, if you've enjoyed my casting so far, you can check me out at Captain Canuck Dota on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I haven't updated my YouTube in a good long while, but I do stream pretty regularly to my Twitch and to other channels. I'm usually on the UGC League or the 82L channel, but sometimes I pop up on my own. And then Twitter, of course. You can find me at Captain Canuck Dota there. I post every time I stream on Twitter, and so you can find the links to all the miscellaneous channels I end up on. You killed the electricity in this area. But, Sea Salty Timinaro. That's great. But yeah, so if you want to keep up to date with all the random frickin' channels I cast on, I'm on multiple UGC League channels. I show up on the 82L. I'm casting for the High School Star League now, so there's a High School League, the HSL stream, and my own personal stream. So I'll just throw it up on there whenever I'm good to go. But man, this disconnects. Zeus Salty IRL. I love that. Alright, is it time to look at cosmetics? I think it is. This Lena set. It's interesting. I don't like the hair as much, though. It looks a little goofy. But the dress looks good. Zeus. Oh man, the 45. Look at that. Yeah, I could turn it around. Is it 54? Or is it 45? 54? 45. I think it's... Camera faces this way. I think it's 54. Alright, Wraith King. He's just chilling here. He's got a nice sword, but nothing else. Just staring up to the skies. What is my purpose in life? Who am I? Why am I? Shadow Demon, what's he got going on? Why can't I click on him? And Shadow Demon. He looks pretty depressed. Just kind of like looking downwards. Oh, I think it's because he's dead. He's kind of falling down right now. I'm dead. Clockwork, just a spiky mofo. Oh my god. That looks painful. Look at his face. He's got like a million spikes just coming out of his face. He's a porcupine Clockwork. Like, that's gotta hurt, man. It's like being Wolverine. Like, every time you pop out the claws, they just... Oh boy. He can't reconnect. Uh-oh. Alright, let's get out of showcase view, but... Alright, so... Yeah, the Alright, so Magnus may... Oh, no, there's a haste rune on Zeus. Blinks over, and actually, okay, so Magnus does get out. That mobility doing him well, and he does escape. So 4 for nothing, and Cafe Lou sitting in a really dominant position, but not able to reconnect is the Shadow Demons. So looks like we might end up with CLC just kind of rolling this game over. Like I said, they're probably going to be able to get racks off this push, and you know, fighting 5v4 is going to be a really rough uphill battle for Void Boys, and they were already starting to fall behind. So this might be, you know, we might be seeing a GG in the next 5-10 minutes. Depends how well Void Boys play this. I mean, they could fight it back 5v4, but chances of that happening are pretty rough. And CLC, they're not going to go for the racks. I think they might be thinking about Roshan, and actually, the Roshan timer was off. I guess it doesn't update until the 8 minutes is up, but yeah, it's got about a minute left, so if they just hang around the Roche pit, they should be able to get that when it comes up. But Abyssal Blade has been finished up on that Wraith King. We were talking about that earlier. Being able to lock down that Juggernaut even more so is going to be of absolute detriment to him. So I think Juggernaut, regardless of the scenario, regardless of his position in a fight, I think he needs to open up with the Omni Slash. Like, the second he sees someone just Omni Slash, and, you know, whether or not that pans out for him, whether or not that does all the damage it needs to, you got to leave that up to random chance, because just letting, you know, letting yourself be vulnerable for even a second against the CLC team is going to be way too dangerous right now. So Ghost Scepter now up on the Lion now too, so he's doing really well on that front. He's, I think he's going to be pretty immune to most damage, but Roshan spawns right on top of Memoria here, so they know that the Roshan's up, and actually pulling the Rosh out into the river is going to let Void Boys know that it is up as well. So both teams may be looking to contest that Roshan, and looks like they've just sent the Shadow Demon up towards top to kind of farm up, and you know, in a couple minutes when he is removed from the game for good, I think all of his gold will go towards the rest of their teammates. So they're just kind of trying to collect whatever gold they can with that spare teammate, and you know, I guess that's the best they can really hope for. But anyways, mine going to work on this Roshan here. He should have no problem taking care of it by himself. Void Boys want to maybe make an engagement happen here, but CLC are keeping themselves very well spread out. I mean, they've only got 2 inside the pit, and everybody else is staying at full range to try to make sure that this Roshan is secure. And you know, using that rocket flare to scout, they've got a very good positioning advantage here. Now it looks like Mercy wants to move into the pit here. The Axe is going to be the first one to go. They're chasing after that Zeus. Can they find him? They get the taunt off on him though, but I don't think he's going to take a fall. Abyssal Blade goes out on the Jug and he dies instantly. There they go. They're chasing in onto the Axe now. Can they bring him down? Oh, they certainly will. They get a bash. Omega Owner is gone. 3 down. Magnus remains, but there's not much he can do as he's hiding, cowering down on the bottom lane there, and that's going to be a Roshan for sure. Now Cafe Lou himself, he disconnects. What is going on here? I'm going to check myself just to make sure I don't have a Windows update coming up, because killing the stream would be really unfortunate. Oh, Skype call dropped. Okay. Alright, well, Earthshaker's back. Looks like we're ready to go. Yeah, alright, we're back into the game. But yeah, that is going to be a Roshan for Cafe Lou crew, and I don't know what Void Boys can hope to do in this scenario. I mean, that's the 3rd fight in a row that Juggernaut has not been able to get his ultimate off, and like I said, I think he just needs to throw it on the first target he sees. You know, even if it's the Wraith King, even if it's killing off the Wraith King's first life with your ultimate, you just gotta do it. It's the only option you have at this point, and it's just, you know, he's just not able to do the damage he needs because he can't survive long enough. I mean, the second the Wraith King uses that Abyssal Blade, he's done. He's dead. You know, they're trying to microfly to do something, you know, use illusions to hold out the lane, whatever they can manage, but I think Void Boys are pretty close to their last stand here. Cafe Lou gonna secure the bottom tier 2 instead of going into the high ground. You know, they're a little bit wary of that at this point, so cutting the lane out, and as their creep wave moves up, they'll just be hitting down this tower. So that's a bunch of free gold for them. I mean, it's in a position like this, there's no reason not to just secure that gold, get yourself further ahead, and open yourself up to the possibility of rolling multiple sets of racks when you do finally crack the base. It's something I see happen all too often in pubs that really shouldn't, and that's you know, you push in when you have one lane of racks vulnerable. You see a, you know, you go for that tier 3 tower, and you force the issue instead of going for the tier 2s. And when you force yourself into those scenarios, you know, the maximum amount that you can get is one set of racks, which is really, really good. But unless you're guaranteed that fight, like unless you've already taken a good fight, there's not much reason to push in towards those tier 3s. Instead, get the tier 2s, and then when you do find yourself a good break and you can crack the base, then you have a lot more options. So net worth, yeah, has taken a massive swing. Now this pause has kind of messed it up. This whole section in here was the pause, so it has been a pretty steady decline from the time that CLC has taken over this game, down to about 12k disadvantage for net worth, and XP about 15k in their advantage as well. Actually, nearing pretty close to the 20,000 mark. I'm just gonna pause here not pause, but mute my mic really quick because I a bit of a stuffy nose here, and I gotta blow it. I'll be back in just a couple seconds here, guys. Alright, thank you for excusing that. That was, it's allergy season up here. Got the nose is not being friendly to me, but anyways, tier 2 tower up top, gonna face some pressure now as well. They, yeah, CLC showing absolutely no fear. Wraith King blinking forward into a creep wave. Like, there's nothing that Void Boys can do to him, so he's just playing as aggressively as he can, knocking down towers, and the Zeus is there as well. I mean, Zeus has the Aegis, he's got a Bloodstone with 10 charges on it, and it's 4 staff and a Yule Scepter. Like, there's nothing that they can do to touch this Zeus, which is saying quite a bit about the position of Cafe Lu right now. They're going to move in towards this tier 3. Creep wave evaporates almost immediately as the lightning zaps around between the couple heroes. Oh, Yule's up onto the Magnus, and he gets stunned out before he can charge back out. So the Magnus is dead. He's going to buy back, but the Abyssal Blade goes out on Mercy, and he's going to Manta out. Now, maybe he's in a position to turn this back around and do some damage for real. There goes the Omni Slash. It's going to be spent between a couple different targets here, but will they be able to do enough to bring down this Cafe Lu team? I don't know. Lina picks off Lion on the back lines, and no, there we go. There's the Juggernaut and the Magnus both taking a fall. Lina trying to run herself away, and the Micro Shadow Demon, he's going to take a fall as well. Mind still sitting there with his ultimate, so he is fine. Revive himself in just a second there. Zeus actually doesn't have his Aegis anymore. Maybe they could find him with the Lina or something, but yeah, they just don't have the damage. And it's going to be a 3-for-3 exchange with the Aegis and the Wraith King ultimate spent as well. So I guess that's, yeah, I guess everybody on CLC did technically die in exchange for 4 kills and 2 buybacks. So yeah, it's debatable who came out on top of that fight. And but you know, Void Boys did resist a push, which speaks quite heavily towards what they accomplished in that fight, because CLC, I think they went a little bit too aggressive in terms of fighting there. I think once they got the Magnus, they should have just focused on knocking down these buildings, but instead they pursued, they blinked into the base, and this fight continued all the way over down into here, and then pursued up and towards here. Like, you know, just hit the building. Just hit the tower, knock down those racks, and secure yourself the game, I think, is probably the better play there, but they do secure themselves a hefty boost in net worth there as well. Yeah, I think the graphs continue to push down in their favor. No spikes back up for Void Boys. So, you know, Assault Cuirass picked up by the Wraith King. He is pretty close to 6-slotted. Just needs to sell off that Midas and replace it with something else. Get himself a Boots of Travel, and he'll be ready to go. Clockwork now sitting on an Aghanims as well, so he's got those multiple hook shots to spend in a single fight, and we'll see how that fares as this game continues. That, you know, few second magic immunity piercing stun onto the Juggernaut could be very potent, but Mine, he's going to get jumped on here, but he just does too much damage. The taunt is not something that X wants to be using there, and there we go. Juggernaut going to take another fall. He just cannot survive this game, and I think we're pretty close to seeing the end of this game. I mean, they just need to get in that base, knock out some buildings, and there's no way the Juggernaut can get back into this. No buyback available. They're continuing to look for this Magnus, but he's so mobile between Skewer, Forestaff, and the Blink Dagger that I think he's going to be fine getting out of that. But either way, I mean, Cafe Lu sitting in firm control of this game, and once they crack the base, once they get themselves some racks, I think we'll probably be seeing a GG. 15 stacks on that Bloodstone too. That's absurd. 35 mana regen per second and 14 health. Mid lane, Magnus tries to skewer away, but gets caught out at the last second there. He's going to take a follow, yeah, there goes the axe. Lena, she's going to follow very shortly thereafter. Throws out a Laguna Blade, but doesn't manage to finish off Moria. He's going to TP home, but that'll be it for this game, I think. You know, maybe Void Boys hold out and wait for him to kill the throne, but I think that's pretty close to it. And unfortunately, there happened to be that disconnect that computer dropped out, and Void Boys had to continue on 4v5. But you know, stuff like that happens, and I mean, they were kind of starting to fall behind from there already. It's unfortunate they didn't have another person dedicated to microing that Shadow Demon, but I don't see the outcome being all that different if they did. I mean, they microed him as best they could, and despite that, still lost a hefty amount of team fights, and it was kind of trending that way to begin with, but anyways, I mean, yeah, like, if we bring up the graphs, you can see, like, it was heading downwards, we took a little break, and it continued downward at pretty much the exact same pace, so, you know, CLC just taking advantage of good team fight, and, you know, the Earthshaker planting a lot of really good Echo Slams, the Zeus as well, you know, his ultimates were on point, making sure to cancel out those blinks, make sure that the Zeus and the Axe, or the Axe and the Magnus couldn't do their jobs, and sure enough, CLC take the victory in game number 1. This is a best of 3, so we will be seeing another 1, potentially 2 games played, depending on the outcome of the next one, but exciting stuff. Alright, yeah, they're gonna walk in, finish off the throne, no GG gonna be called, but yeah. 40 minutes in, throne will drop. Juggernaut, yeah, goes for an Omni Slash, but there's too many creeps there. And Abyssal Blade gets dropped on him. Not able to hold him down long enough. Oh, maybe, as they use him back in. He's going to drop inside the cogs. And Mercy Plea is going to die. There he goes. And there we go. Radiance Ancient going to fall. And that will be the first game of this Best of 3 series here in the UGC League Season 3 semifinals of the playoffs. Looking very forward to the next couple games here. These teams are very evenly matched and very, very strong in their own right. Curious to see how these next couple drafts and these games are going to play out if we do indeed go to 3. I would love to see us go to 3, though. That would be amazing, especially considering these two teams. Like I said, I hold very high respect for both of them, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this series brings. But anyways, guys, we'll be throwing it to an overlay, and then I'll be getting the next lobby set up. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, but thank you for watching. Hope you stay tuned, and of course, share the stream with your friends. Make sure to get as many people in here as possible. I know there's MLG going on right now, but, you know, show some love for the little guy. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. Thank you for staying tuned. Quick update for all the viewers out here. We're sitting in the lobby with 10 players here, but the Shadow Demon, I can't remember his name, the guy who was playing Shadow Demon last game was unable to rejoin at all. I wonder if I guess his PC blew up or something. I don't know what is going on, but it seems like he's not able to get back on. Maybe lost internet, maybe lost power, something along those lines. But Void Boys is trying to find a stand-in. However, UGC rules do state that you have to have all of your potential stand-ins listed under your official roster on the website. So there is a limited couple players that Void Boys could recruit, so they're just trying to figure things out. They're going to speak to the admins, and I will try to keep you guys updated as well as I can. But worst case scenario, this second game doesn't get played and it defaults to Cafe Lou. But best case scenario, we just get this game going with a stand-in, or the other player or Fly can come back. We'll see. But stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I will let you guys know, and I'll be updating you as frequently as I can. Cheers. Alright folks, for any of you still hanging around, I've just contacted an admin. He's going to pop into the lobby and talk to the two teams. It sounds like Void Boys' side of the story is that they had a roster change in between the regular season and the playoffs, but the website didn't allow them to make any roster changes because of obviously the playoffs. You're not allowed to change your team during the playoffs. So it sounds like they had an official roster change that is technically against the rules of the UGC. So we're not sure if that's going to be allowed through or not. It'll have to go through the admin's decision. I'm not sure what the proper course of action is going to be. I would assume that since the roster change was made after the regular season, that it would kind of invalidate their standings in the postseason. So we'll see, though. I'll keep you guys updated once again, and hopefully things get sorted out pretty quickly here. But stay tuned. I guess I'll try to keep you guys updated as frequently as I can. I'm just gonna sit here and watch it happen as the admin has joined the lobby and is talking to the two teams right now. So I'm just kind of standing by waiting to see what happens. So cheers, and thank you for your patience, guys. Alright, folks, so unfortunately that is going to be it for this series. It turns out that one of the players for Void Boys that game was technically unrostered, and just due to the strict nature of the rule set, having an unrostered player is completely disallowed during the playoffs. You're allowed to edit your roster up until the playoffs, but Void Boys waited too late and edited their roster in between the first and the second round, which resulted in them playing a technically illegal game. So that game one, despite them losing, was an infraction of the rules, and they have been a forfeit has been given to Cafe Lucru. So Cafe Lucru will continue on into the grand finals against Vacation Dampier. That will be happening next week, and I'm actually not sure how this plays out then. The bronze medal match was the bronze medal match won't be happening. Like I said, whoever was dropped down to bronze was technically going to just get a default win because the team that was playing in the bronze medal match disbanded. But since Void Boys have been dropped for playing with an illegal roster, I don't know if we're even going to have a third or fourth place. So we'll see about that. Stay tuned, check out the website. I'm sure there's going to be an update up there or something. You'll be able to see the brackets in full over there. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. It's unfortunate that the series didn't get to go longer. I really wish I could have seen these two teams play it out because they were fantastic. I was really, really excited about this matchup, but unfortunately, that's all that we got. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. It's been a great time. If you enjoyed my casting, please throw me a follow over at Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch at Captain Canuck Dota. You can also find all the info on the UGC League over at ugcleague.com. Thank you once again, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening.